Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us this week on the Media Boat Podcast. Today is December the 16th, 2025. This is episode 517. We are approaching the end of 2025 and thus the end of season 9, 10,
10.
9, 10, season 10 of the
Season
Media Boat
10.
Podcast. We will be celebrating our 10th anniversary, believe it or not, by the end of this month, right?
Yes. Yes. In 2 more weeks.
Yeah, four
Because
weeks.
according to our podcast notes, this is 12:30 when we started. So
Wow, nuts. Absolutely
yes.
nuts if you ask me. But let's do a regular podcast before we talk about that. We'll update you about where we're at with the year-end wrap-up podcast at the end of the show.
So
But for
stay
now,
tuned for that.
exactly, stay tuned for that. Watch your feeds for those. But in the meantime, let's do just a regular ass show today. Why not?
Well, it's not really a regular ass show because we're in December. So we're gonna start with the
Yeah.
music section. Start the music section with the
Yes.
Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest
Hmm.
song in the land, breaking records I might add, is
Yes.
All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey.
We'll
Once
talk more
again,
about that
getting another
record in just
house with that record.
yeah, we'll talk about that record in a moment.
At number two is Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee. At three, Last Christmas by Wham. At four, Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms. And rounding out your top five, Ariana Grande. But not the Wicked song. No, this is Santa Tell Me. It's Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
As for your Billboard 200, your albums chart, they don't care about Christmas stuff because that number one is The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift.
Yes.
At two, The Problem himself, Morgan Wallen. At three, K-pop Demon Hunters, the soundtrack by various artists. Coming in at four, oh, is a Christmas album, Christmas by Michael Bublé.
Yep.
But it's better than number five, Ultimate Christmas by Bing Crosby. I
Yes.
assume that's how you say it when you have Ultimate Christmas in the name of a title of the album.
It's so funny that it's called that, and then you have the reveal of it's just a collection of Bing Crosby Christmas songs because it just
Yeah.
sounds like so weird.
Well, still, it's the Ultimate Christmas.
The ultimate Christmas.
Yes, but cannot be outdone by just Christmas. It's
Yeah,
cleaner.
ultimate. Yeah.
No. If you don't like any of those albums, we have new release.
Yeah, just one.
That's right. Peter Criss decided to put on an album called Peter Criss.
Yeah, I don't know why someone would put like especially a solo record, a member of Kiss putting out a solo record in the middle of like Christmas album season seems like I don't know. Unless this is one of those that was scheduled for the end of the year and isn't actually coming out, but the release calendar says it is. That's
Well,
possible.
see, he puts it out now. So next year, when he puts out more albums, he can call it Peter Criss Moss.
Oh, we didn't need that.
I needed that. All right, let's get into our music news.
Please, yes, please.
Yeah, speaking of Moss, Mariah Carey, as
She's
once
living
again,
Moss right now.
she's living Moss, yes, as once again, broken another long-standing record. This one atop the Billboard 100, as her single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, spends its 20th week at number one. You know, this perennial holiday, do we dare call it an anthem at this point?
Yeah.
Which returned to the charts last week, has now claimed the throne for 20 weeks, beating the record previously shared by Lil Nas X's Old Town Road. Remember that song? As and Shabuzi's A Bar Song, Tipsy, both of which held the spot for 19 weeks at number one.
Mhm.
This means All I Want for Christmas Is You is now the top album with 20 weeks. It also claims its 77th week on the Hot 100, which is tying Dua Lipa's Levitating as the longest charting song ever by a female artist.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff. We knew last year that eventually, with just 2 more weeks, it was going to cross that threshold. So we kind of saw this coming a year ago. But now that it's happened, we can officially put her on top. It is unfortunate that just the way that the Hot 100 works is that that means she's probably going to have that record for, I don't know, probably forever. Because I can't imagine anything topping it if it's going to do this, like gain another like 4 weeks of record every year.
Well, let's see here. Could Bad Bunny put out a Christmas album? Could Taylor Swift put out a Christmas album?
She
Taylor's
has.
version?
She did. Well,
That's
no,
why I
she's not
said
doing
Taylor's
those.
version.
She's not doing those anymore. She owns that record now, so
Oh,
there's no
yes.
reason to. No, I don't know. It's either going to be a very long time until something else beats it, or this is just for the rest of our lives. We're going to be saying, "Oh yeah," and the best charting song ever is "All I Want for Christmas Is You." It's just a fact. Like it's just like, sorry, it's never going to be beat.
The only way to be beaten is if something happens to Mariah Carey.
No, even then. In fact, I would argue if something happens to Mariah Carey, then you have a lot more weeks at number one.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about being canceled.
I guess, but honestly, we're talking about Mariah Carey. If that was going to happen, it would have happened already.
I know, we're talking about the average listener who needs the Mariah Carey fix every time
Yeah,
Christmas comes around.
it's. I think it's immune. I think it's bulletproof. I think that this thing will be around us as long as we live.
Uh, well, at least Brenda Lee's going to be there,
Yeah.
hanging out by her side. All right. Did you listen to any of these Christmas albums?
No, I was hammered out my top five, and I'm now trying to make my year-end playlist as per usual for me. So that is what I've been doing with music.
All right. I've been going through a round robin of different Christmas songs because 'tis the season and 'tis 10 days remaining until Boxing Day
I'm boxing,
because
in
it's
case
9
you're
days
not
until
listening.
Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. You're not listening to the video version. I'm currently boxing.
Yes,
Right.
you hit that imaginary bag.
It will.
Yes. All right. Well, then let's move on then into video games where we have new release
Says.
is, yes, plural this time.
Mhm.
Well, is it plural? We
For
have
now.
Layers of Fear, the final masterpiece edition for the Switch 2. So not so re-release.
Yeah.
We also have Splitgate, Arena Reloaded, which is a re-release and a relaunch of Splitgate 2.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this stuff, probably not. It was a pretty small story, but a few months ago, I guess the developers of Splitgate were like, I don't know, we're gonna bail on Splitgate 2. We're going to like take a piece of the multiplayer and refine it and focus on that instead of focusing on Splitgate 2. It's been a mess, apparently.
Well, that's out for everything but the Switch. And lastly, we have the Rogue Prince of Persia, but for the Switch and the Switch 2, already
Yes.
out on
Yeah.
consoles. So a re-release?
Yeah.
Like
A
I
port.
said, new release question mark at the
Right,
top of this.
exactly. No actual new releases. And no actual new releases until the new year. I'll give you a heads up that this next week is going to be pretty barren when it comes to new releases, as you might
Ah,
imagine.
that's because you don't have one game on here that was announced and
Well,
released.
well,
Well,
what
it's
was it?
mobile and coming to consoles in 2026
Well,
January
that's why I
after a
don't have
30
it.
day.
Yeah,
So
that's
we'll
why I don't
keep
have
it.
it.
All right, so we'll save it then.
Yeah, save
It's a Bluey
it.
game.
Yeah, it doesn't count. It's not out yet.
Does it, I'll say it doesn't count because it's Bluey. Yes, it does count.
No, it does count because it's blue. It doesn't count because it's not out yet.
It's on iOS right now, but for 30
Yeah,
days, and
we
then
don't
it'll
do
come to
just mobile
consoles.
games on this list.
All
You know,
right.
if we
Well,
did,
we know
I
who.
would be reading hundreds of games every week, and I can't do that.
Well, that's how I determined my mobile game of the year.
Yes.
We just don't
Anyway.
do it anymore. Anyways, you know who does do mobile game of the year? The Game Awards.
No, they don't.
In my mind, they do.
But yes, the Game Awards happened. I don't have a story here because I'm assuming we both watched this.
Oh, we both watched it, yes. Or did we? Or would you
I
just watch
did.
Claire Obscura walk up and down the aisle 500 times?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with the winners then. I didn't know if you want to start with the announcements or the winners. I
Oh
honestly
no, we'll
think
go with
that
the
the
announcements.
winners,
Those are the
the
winners.
awards were a little bit more interesting than the announcements this year, at least for me. But yes, your big winner of the night, winning almost every category it was nominated in, was Clair Obscure Expedition 33. It seems like it was well deserved. People really like that game. And yeah, it was. It seems like it was made by a charming bunch of French people, and so yeah, I approve of that. That's fine with me. As for other winners during the night, a smattering of other games won some stuff, but mostly it was Clair Obscure's night to shine. Kind
Oh
of
yeah.
surprising snubs. You didn't see any real wins for the Hollow Knight Silk Song, which was the other
Mhm.
favorite going into the night. Kind of snubbed. Um,
I mean, it's hard to be snubbed when your Claire Obscura wins Game of the Year, Game
yeah,
Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, uh, Best Performance,
yeah.
Best Independent Game, Best Debut Indie Game. What else did it win? Hollow Knight did win one thing, Best Action Adventure Game.
Oh, there you go. There's something.
And not to be confused, Hades 2 did win Best Action Game.
Yeah. The thing that I think coming out of this Game
That's
Awards
because Claire
was,
Obscura classified as a role-playing game, which it
yeah,
won.
it is. Yeah. But yeah, the thing coming out of it was just like, wow, like I don't know about how these genre classifications are being decided. I don't know how these categories make sense anymore. A lot of stuff felt weird. And then the announcement part, I didn't really get a whole lot of that out of that either. We saw new footage of both a remake of the first Tomb Raider as well as a brand new Tomb Raider game. We saw a teaser for a new Mega Man game
Hmm.
that is not Mega Man 12, it's just Mega Man with a subtitle. Um,
Are you talking about Mega Man Dual Override?
Yeah, Dual Override. It's a bad subtitle.
Is it?
I don't know. What other notable announcements did we see? I'm trying to think.
Um, Neo 3, for those of you fans of Neo.
Oh, yeah, yeah, Neo.
Yes, the
I always
Diablo
think about
4
Neo.
expansion, and not Neo.
Yeah, I think about Neo instead of Neo whenever somebody says that.
Right. We also got the announcements for what was this? Divinity.
Oh, yeah, Larian's new game Divinity, which is in the news today for a whole nother reason.
Yeah. Two Star Wars games, Fate of the
Yeah.
Old Republic and Galactic Racers.
Yeah, those are actually kind of the highlights, I think, of the show. Fate of the Old Republic is interesting because it's
Hmm.
bringing back Casey Hudson, who is the one of the creative directors that worked on the original Knights of the Old Republic games, as well as the Mass Effect games. So having him back spearheading a RPG Star Wars project is very exciting. Meanwhile, the racing game is interesting because we haven't had a pure Star Wars racing game since, of course, everybody's favorite Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, the pod racing game.
Hmm.
So it's cool to see a Star Wars themed racing game again. We a lot of millennials have nostalgia for that pod
I
racing
played a
game.
lot of that pod racing game.
I also rented it on the N64 a lot.
Other than that, yeah, not a whole lot of like huge announcements.
No, it was a
I
kind of an
mean,
off year,
yeah,
it felt.
no showcase of Grand Theft Auto 6, even though
No.
it was the most anticipated game.
Yeah, no party Sony stuff really.
Hmm.
No big
Yeah,
Xbox
no
reveals.
Wolverine,
Yeah,
no
Wolverine wasn't there.
Witcher 4.
Kingdom Hearts 4 was not there. Yeah, unfortunately
Yes,
for
yes, I
you.
know.
Oh, there was that. What's that game called? That was the hero shooter kind of set in like a medieval style setting by ex Respawn people that ended the show.
Arknights.
Was that the name of that?
So Arknights Enfield.
No, it's something else. It's called something else.
Okay,
Anyway, something Fall, I want to say.
of
I keep
course.
thinking Nightfall, but that can't be the name of that game.
It's not Lords of the Fallen, right?
No. Lord of the Fallen 2 also did get announced, but
Yes.
I forget. Because see, that's kind of the vibe, right? Is like I
Hmm.
can't even remember the name of that game because it just looked kind of generic to me. I don't know. I don't know, man. A new Diablo
Yeah,
4
I don't know.
expansion? I don't know. Is it was announced? I don't know. It was
Yeah.
kind of a weak year,
Ace
I'll be
Combat
honest.
8, for those of you who care about
Yeah,
Ace Combat.
that was kind of cool. People liked 7, so I'm glad that those guys get
Hmm.
another game. That's exciting. But that's yeah, I don't know. That's the Game Awards. Real weird year. Seemed like there was a little bit of a cloud over it from a lot of the discourse around it this year. And I don't know. I think Jeff Keighley's kind of losing his touch on these things as more and more people realize, oh, this is kind of a weird thing, and why do we do it the way we do it? And why aren't we like celebrating these games in a different way? So yeah, hopefully he thinks about it. Hopefully, like he takes this power and this platform and really rethinks what this can be when we do this next year.
Well, you could sell it to a bigger studio.
No, you can't take it away from Jeff Keighley's hands. I don't think. I think he's gonna grip that. It's his baby.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't think he'd sell it.
No, no, he
But
will not. All
anyway,
right. Anyways, what you need to sell me on, though, is a
um,
video game.
well, I don't know if I'm gonna sell you on it. So this is kind of strange for me because technically I did already talk about this game in the year-end wrap-up episode for video games that we already have recorded. But
Ooh,
for those of
spoilers.
you listening out of order, I guess I'll talk
I
about it
feel like
again
they're
here.
listening in order. We are putting it out of order.
Yes, then maybe that's true. But yeah, I played finally Unbeatable. I was a Kickstarter backer 5 years ago, and have been following this project ever since it was announced. It is a hybrid rhythm game and like visual novel style, like narrative game. And I think it does a pretty good job of combining those two things. It's a pretty good hybrid, and is more or less the game that they promised. It just doesn't quite make it to amazing territory for a handful of reasons. Again, I feel like I'm just repeating what I said last time, but I guess I kind of have to.
Well, hey, no one's heard you say this before.
Yeah. But okay, so the thing about Unbeatable is there's a lot to love here and a lot to admire. It's a very ambitious project. It's beautiful. The art is all hand drawn. It's all like a very cool style, like anime influenced style. It's just beautiful to look at. The story is interesting. The concept is compelling on its own. Um, it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic kind of setting with where music has been banned. Any musicians or people who teach music have basically been uh, treated like criminals and are arrested if they are caught. And so the police are constantly going around like being like, "Oh, if they hear music, they're going to go after you." And you happen to be a musician. You play as Beat, who is a vocalist who doesn't have a band when the game starts, but then joins a band of a handful of other ragtag musicians. And the game is basically about how to stay in a band and stay with friends when there's interpersonal drama, as well as living in a police state that hates you. And so you're in and out of prison. There's a breakout. There's, practices. There's finding a studio space. So you get equal parts this narrative about like that's actually kind of relevant right now in our current times, which is about like a government who wants to suppress creativity and doesn't want artists to have a live like have make a living. Where have I heard that before? But also you get the stuff, the more personal stuff. You get like, what's it like to be in a band? Like, what are the dynamic? What is it like to maintain relationships with people that you're close with in a creative manner? Is one person more in it than the rest? For example, like there's a lot of discussion, and I know a lot of media that's about bands has already done this, but this juxtaposition against that kind of police state plot is interesting and adds a little bit more depth to that, which what could have been a pretty oh, been there, done that kind of storyline. Um, you can see its influences on its sleeve. It's very influenced by anime stuff like Scott Pilgrim. Is an obvious inspiration here. You see a little bit of other like adventure style video games as an influence here. And then, of course, there's the rhythm game part, which is the actual gameplay. So it's a rhythm game combined with a beat 'em up in a way because the rhythm game is done by like basically defeating enemies. So it's pretty much just an up down track. So there are enemies that come to your top and there's enemies that come to your bottom track. And one button is your top, one button is your bottom. Like it's basically kick and punch is you could view it as if it was like an actual beat 'em up. And so yeah, so as that enemy crosses, the line like Rock Band style, you hit it. And that's when you press the button. So basically that's how the rhythm game works. And just like any other rhythm game, you're going to hold for sustained notes. You're going to maybe do two in a row if you kick an enemy up and it falls back down, for example. Stuff like that. There's even ones where, oh, jam on the buttons to just hammer on this enemy before you move on to the section. Kind of like almost like a drum roll equivalent. So if you've played rhythm games before, you'll more or less figure it out pretty quickly. But the game does have a tutorial that's pretty good at teaching you how to play the game. Um, but the thing is that all sounds great, but the actual execution is a little subpar for me. It's pretty buggy. I noticed a lot of characters getting stuck on geometry in levels, even during cutscenes. So that somebody would just be like shaking like crazy if they were caught on like a curb or against an item or something, like a fallen chair, for example. I saw that happen once. There's no restart for a lot of the rhythm game segments in the story mode, which is really unfortunate because there are plenty of times where I just straight up failed and I knew I failed and the game just moved on. And I was like, wait, I don't get to like retry this. There's no option even to restart that encounter. Like, what if I passed that encounter? Would this dialogue that I got after the encounter be different? I legitimately don't know. And I started on like a hard difficulty because it was recommended on the menu. I had to bump it down to normal because it was way too hard. And now more I'm getting into the story, even normal is getting a little too hard. I'm like, okay, is it me or is it the game? So there's a lot of weird choices, and also I think the storytelling is not as great as I was hoping it would be. The subject matter is like interesting enough to keep me going though that I'm like moving past the vagueness of the opening hour or so that I was just like, okay, where am I? What am I doing here? Why is this set up like it is? I know you want to get to the part where we're doing the we are in a band part, but the road there isn't exactly like, I don't know, it doesn't feel fully fleshed out to me. And so, yeah, the end result is a game that I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm into in a way because I want to see it out and I want to see where it goes. And the actual rhythm game is pretty fun, and the arcade mode is just that. And so I kind of want to get to the point where I finish the story mode so I can really dig into the arcade mode stuff. But I'm not having like an amazing time with the story mode so far. I think it's interesting enough to keep going, but I just wished it was a little bit more polished and just a little bit better. I think that's more or less where I landed.
All right. But, good enough than most other games you played, though.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the highs are so high that I think it warrants a recommendation for people who are into the idea of it. Like, I think if you're like, if you look at the trailer and you're like, wow, that's cool, I think you should try it. There is a demo, for example,
Oh.
if you're interested in at least seeing what that is. Right now, it's only on PC and PS5. An Xbox
Mhm.
version is coming soon, according to the developers. But right now, yeah, you can get it on Steam. I believe it's like 27.99, so about $28. And I think
Mhm.
that for the arcade mode, even like with all the depth in there, that's pretty worth it, I think. So if you like rhythm games and you are interested at all in the story, you might want to check it out, but be aware that the game's not fully baked yet, I think. Maybe a couple more patches, who knows. But right now, there's a little bit of little bits and pieces that I don't love about it.
Now, if you liked Hi-Fi Rush, which came out a couple of years ago,
I mean, they're similar in
it,
execution, I think. I
right, that's
think,
more of like a action
yeah,
adventure, though.
they're just different genres, is the thing. It's
Okay.
like, this is like
I'm just saying because
as if
you
they,
hit like a lot of the same elements of like
yeah, you get
you're in
that
a
where like
band,
you're in a
you're
band,
like
you're
trying to
playing
up
music.
music.
Yeah, and music is like been
Government is like
right.
everywhere into
They're
it, yeah,
similar in concept, but they're very different games. Hi-Fi Rush
in
is an
execution.
actual beat 'em up platformer, whereas this is like as if they made a story mode, a visual novel, and shoved it into Rock Band. Is basically what this is, which sounds awesome, actually, now that I say that. But anyway, good idea. But execution is just like, I don't know, feels more 7 out of 10 than it does 8, 9 out of 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Anyway,
Uh, Anyways,
that's unbeatable.
yep. Well, we see you at your end of the year charts.
I don't know. You'll have to listen and find out, won't you?
All right. Well, I didn't play anything new, so let's continue on into television, where we start with the
Let's.
sports corner.
Yes.
And it finally happened. We have some clinched playoff berths in the
Hey.
NFL. The
Hey.
Broncos at 12-2 and the Rams at 11-3 have both clinched playoff berths, meaning
Yes.
if they put out 52 guys from the street to go play football, they will still make the playoffs.
Yes.
Not that they're going to do that, but they could lose every game from here to the end of the season and they would still make the playoffs.
Yeah. Impressive.
Not that they will do that, but it just means that they will probably end up resting some of their starters, get some more rotations in, get some more playing time for their other players because
Yep.
next man up is always the philosophy.
Yep.
But we have to look at the other end of the spectrum as well with those teams that are eliminated, including the Bengals, the Commanders, the Falcons, and the Chiefs.
So the dynasty ends here, I guess is what you could say.
Yes, because for the first time since 2014,
Yeah.
the Chiefs will not be playing in January.
I mean, they did the thing, right? Like you could argue it's like, well, they did it. They had no more mountains to conquer, and now they're done.
Well, I mean, and so is Patrick Mahomes' ACL
Yeah, that might be
because it
part of
also
it.
it was
It's done.
done.
It's done.
Yes, he got immediate surgery the following day because he's Patrick Mahomes. Didn't have
Mhm.
to end up on any wait list.
Yeah,
And he might be available by the time 2026 season starts.
might.
Might be available.
What about Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce? He seemed to have had some rough games in the last couple of games.
Yes, he will contemplate retirement this offseason, as he
Yeah.
also contemplates what suit he will wear and whether or not he will be barefoot up at the altar.
Yeah, I think that if he ends up retiring, I think he'll be just fine.
Well, if he does end up retiring, it means that he has to now go out and purchase a ring rather than having one handed to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he can use one of the three he already has and use that
Yeah,
all
just
day.
use one of those. Anyway,
Anyways, those rings are so huge they could probably end up being like a wristwatch.
on Taylor, yeah, maybe, honestly.
Yes. Just giant football meat of hands.
Ooh,
All right.
football meat.
Yeah, football meat's delicious.
Gross.
Yeah, they're all wrapped up in a sack.
Ew. All right, let's move on, please.
Okay, let's get into the other playoffs, NBA, as the NBA Cup finale is as of this recording tonight. One game left. It's the finals. It's the Spurs versus the Knicks. And unlike the regular NBA finals, this is a one game, one matchup only. Winner take all.
Yeah.
So show up, play your best, and don't lose to the Knicks. Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, how dare you lose? Speaking of losses, your current reigning champions, Oklahoma City Thunder, have suffered a devastating loss. their second loss of the season as they've ended their 16 game win streak. They only have two on the season, only three more before you can't get that NBA record. And games are counted, which means you got to go on another run of winning games to hopefully maintain momentum.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Or don't, because you're probably going to end up with the number one or two pick next year because of all the trades you did. All right. Uh, and let's go to the D League because after leading Indiana, the University of Indiana's football
Mm.
team, to a perfect season, Fernando Mendoza the fifth. Sorry, there's supposed to be a V here. He's V. Mendoza V
Uh,
was awarded the 2025 Heisman, the first in the school's history.
wow. Cool.
Well, I mean, Indiana has been traditionally that good at football, but when you have an undefeated season, when you beat the Ohio State for the championship, when you're ranked one in all the AP polls, you gotta have some good players on your team. So it kind
Yeah.
of makes sense here.
Turns out.
Yep. Wanting one of those trophies himself, Arch Manning has decided he will return to Texas for next year, 2026, as he'll forego this upcoming NFL draft. So, all you dynasty managers out there who have 2026 picks, trade them away. Get 2027 picks now.
I guess so, right?
Not that I'm doing that. Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe.
All right. And lastly, in sports news, MLB had
Yeah.
winter meetings.
Yeah. I
And
think the
nothing exciting
biggest.
happened.
Well, no, unless you're a Mets fan, because you had
I'm
basically the
sorry.
team go on a fire sale instead of
Yes.
actually building up on their existing core. Pete Alonso, the polar bear himself, has left the Mets, has been traded to the Orioles, where he signed a 5 year, $155 million deal. So the polar bear is now in Baltimore. What do you think?
I think they're called Baltimore less because they sucked last year.
Well, I guess the hope is that adding a big bat is going to help their chances going into 26. It very well could.
I don't know. You saw Moneyball, right? Remember when they
I
brought in
did.
David Justice to the A's?
Yeah.
Not
Well,
saying
you
that's what's
never know.
happening here. I'm just saying this looks very familiar.
I mean, yes. But I mean, you have to take it. You have to give it to the Orioles though, because like they found like when I'm sure as soon as they got on that call, they were like baffled probably that they were dealing him at all, and so they're probably like, okay, sure, yeah, we'll take. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, locked in for
congratulations, Pete
5 years.
Alonso, for the payday, I guess.
Yeah. Go enjoy some Lamar Jackson football while he's still there. Go
Yeah.
enjoy some Derrick Henry football while he's still there.
The Mets also dealt a one of their pitchers to the Dodgers, which was also an interesting move. Because do the Dodgers need more pitching?
Well, yeah, you can't pitch Shohei every other day
As much as you want to, as much as he'd want
as
to.
much as he'd want to.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was pretty much the biggest headline of the winter meetings. Otherwise, you're right. They were very quiet. And I think it goes with what a headline I saw a couple weeks ago, which was like, yeah, owners are terrified of the market right now and they're
Mhm.
being very safe. And yeah, it does look like that. But you have some teams that have said that they're not done. So anything can still happen before we get too deep into the new year. So keep your eyes peeled. We may not see the last of the big deals.
I mean, we're only 2 months away from pitchers and catchers reporting for duty.
Yeah, but we've also seen deals happen so late that someone is hopping on a different plane by the time that happens. So,
We've also seen deals happen mid-spring training where
right.
someone hops
Yes.
dugouts.
Right. So anything can happen. Don't limit yourself.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
I have one little update that is adjacent to the MLB, which is the MLB sponsored AUSL, the Athletes
Mhm.
Unlimited Softball League, they have an announcement. They have now a date for when they will assign the existing teams to cities. That announcement will take place on January 13th. We do not know which cities each team will be placed in, except for the one we do, which is the Oklahoma City Spark. But the other teams, including the other expansion team, the Cascade, will all be placed in a city on the 13th. So I am looking forward to that. See if we here in the LA area get one of those teams.
You know we won't.
I mean, maybe not, but maybe.
I mean, I'm not like LA specific, but maybe
Oh,
one of the outer
yeah,
teams.
like maybe somewhere if like close enough, like
You
I'll
know,
be
just
satisfied.
what's south of Los Angeles? You'd say.
You want it to be in Orange County. I realize that. But I'm close enough where I'll take LA. Like that's okay.
Does Long Beach count as LA?
I mean, it's LA County.
Technically, yes, it's LA County.
But we're also close enough to Orange County where we straddle both. We're both at the same time. But anyway, yeah. So the 13th will be that announcement. So looking forward to that.
All right.
But that's all I've got.
Then let's get into some TV news.
Yes, let's move on out of sports into television proper. And this week we're talking about something that's not really television, but sure, it's not American television at least.
Hey, it's a crossover.
It is. It's a crossover. This should have been a music story, but this is. I didn't see this because Variety didn't report on it. But Eurovision is coming back. The 70th edition of the International Singing Competition, due to be held in Austria next May, will be without a handful of countries due to their inclusion of, yes, Israel. Iceland joins Spain, Ireland, Slovenia, and the Netherlands in saying that they will choose not to participate in next year's competition after it was confirmed last week that Israel will be taking part, despite some calls for the country to be excluded over, of course, its military action and genocide in Gaza. Israel has taken part in Eurovision since 1973 because its public broadcaster, Khan, is a member of the EBU. However, quote, participation of Israeli national broadcaster Khan in the contest has created disunity among both members of the European Broadcasting Union, the EBU, and the general public, end quote. Israel won back in 2018 and came second in 2025 this past year. Yes, I also saw, yeah, I saw that this was kind of boiling under, that several countries were kind of growing, like a little coalition against the
Mhm.
inclusion of Israel in this. Also, it's called Eurovision. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, how many countries are involved? Australia's here for some reason. I've never really understood who's allowed and who's not allowed in Eurovision, but hey, that's just me.
Well, technically, Russia was also a part of Eurovision
It
until,
was.
they
Yes. Invited.
invaded Crimea, in which then they were uninvited.
Right. So we've seen this happen before, different versions of this. So yeah, I don't know whether they will eventually back down on this or whether they'll stay hard with Israel being involved. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah, the 70th edition will premiere early next year,
Yes.
as song submissions will be open starting in January.
Yes. All right. So that's it for television news. Let's move on to some thoughts. We have a couple of shows to talk about. One of which we both watched, but I'll let you first talk about Culinary Class Wars Season 2. I remember you being really
Delicious.
high
One of
on the first season of this show.
one of my favorite shows from last year
Yes.
is back with a
Yeah.
second season of the cooking competition. Unfortunately, they
Uh-oh.
premiered it in December,
Yeah. So,
which means we
yeah.
only get 3 episodes, and then another 3 episodes, and then another 3 episodes, which comes in with the final episode at the very end of the year.
Yeah.
Which means I can't put this on any of my lists because I cannot
Sorry.
finish watching it by the time we record them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That being said, the format is more or less the same, at least for the first 3 episodes, where you have 80 white chef cooks with their nicknames going up against 20, sorry, reverse that. Their black coats going up against the 20 white-coated chefs who all are named and Michelin-starred chefs. Not much of a big twist within the first go around here, as you're getting more used to the different cooks out there, as well as like their techniques, what they're bringing here. Everyone, assuming, watched Culinary Class Wars 1, Season 1, and is here for a specific mission, not just to like make their stamp known, but they like understand what the format is. So every time they're like, oh, now I have an idea of like what's gonna happen. Oh, they did this last season. Very similar to like how the other South Korean competitions happen with like Physical 100. Whenever the season 2 came around, they're like, oh, they did this last season. The Devil's Plan season 2. Oh, they did this last season. So they're all like kind of like planning and scheming of like what's kind of expected. But as we know, they always throw curveballs, and I'm excited to see what happens down the line. Like I said, only the first 3 episodes are up right now, so very limited sample sizing, but just to give you a general taste of who, yes, pun definitely intended, who out there you want to specifically root for.
Yeah,
And then you can go back once all done and see the person who won, their journey and their growth, which is what I
that's
really liked
cool.
about season 1 because
Right.
having know who won, going back, it literally plays out like a comic book, which is why it was so high up on my list. Because like, oh, like he almost made it here. He had a mentor in this one. They've met in this. It's like, oh, I see that connected here. It's a great storyline, which is why it was so high on my list.
Right.
You see where it goes here, so
Yeah.
I won't know until the end.
Yeah, that's exciting. Like you have like a whole new bunch to like follow their paths, which is really exciting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, first 3 episodes are up on Netflix. They all drop on Tuesdays. So I will be talking about the finale by the time we get to it. But like I said, because they're dropping in December, and I really wish they didn't, it won't appear on my end of the year list.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, something else that won't appear on our end of the year lists, also premiered this past
Uh,
week.
Asterisk, because at some point Taylor Swift does appear on our end of
Oh,
the year
you know,
list.
I meant specifically this television program.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, talked about this as a news story a handful of months ago, but it is finally here. The 6 episode docu-series that Disney Plus is doing. Taylor Swift, The End of an Era, which follows a documentary crew at the last handful of shows for the Eras Tour in 2024. So
Hmm.
it starts after the events of the canceled shows in Vienna, and then continues through the London shows. So far, there's only 2 episodes right now, but they're, as the name implies, 6 episodes. So there will be 4 more on their way. We have watched both, right? Are you caught
Yep.
up? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. How'd you feel about this? It's a little different.
It's a little different, but also kind of expected. It picks up like towards the end of the European leg as as you mentioned, the shows are
Yeah.
winding down, all culminating towards the Vancouver show, the final show on the tour. And this is what I really like to see and really hope they would get into, which is the behind the scenes, the
Yes.
planning, and a lot of like the stagehands that go into making this production. I do think it tends to skew a little bit more towards Taylor Swift's narrative in terms of like how it's all affecting her. But with that second episode and bringing on Mandy Moore, not
Mhm.
that Mandy
Not
Moore,
that Mandy Moore.
but also like why they hired her, how they
Yes.
tracked her down, how they convinced her to do the show, even though she doesn't do concerts.
Right.
And like basically highlighting specific people along is where this docuseries really shines because I
Yes.
think everyone knows and understands, okay, like Taylor Swift's up there, she's performing, she's hardworking. We kind of get the general sense of that. But as mentioned in the doc, there are, and like in interviews, there's a lot of other people who help put this monumental tour together. So it's nice
Mhm.
giving little spotlights to those different people.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it. This is exactly what I was going to say. I think that the most interesting parts are when you get to learn about, oh, here's a whole fascinating story about one of the dancers, Cam, whose
Mhm.
brother is a Super Bowl winning football player. And like,
Also on the
it's,
Chiefs.
Yeah, also on the Chiefs, it's like, what, huh? What, wait.
Hmm.
And so, like, and learning about Mandy Moore and her history, learning that apparently Taylor got recommended Mandy Moore from Emma Stone because Mandy Moore did the choreography on La La Land. It's
Hmm.
just like a little fascinating trivia bits. I also really like the bit where they get Florence Welch to come and do Florida exclamation point. I think there's two
Yes.
on one of the tour dates in London. And there's this great quote that Florence does in one of the interviews, one of the on-camera interviews that they do with her, which he's like, "Yeah, it's such a strange experience because Taylor Swift is this big persona, but this soft person." And I was like, that is
Hmm.
such a good encapsulation of the whole Taylor Swift vibe in two sentences, like in like one like small package. I was like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that when it's talking about ironically when it's talking about other people, this documentary works. When it's talking about Taylor, it feels like a little bit of a retread of Miss Americana. That's kind of
Hmm.
where I'm at with it. It's like we kind of did this already. We kind of know her deal. But you're right. When we're focusing on the other pieces and like the band members and like I like the bit where like the bassist has to practice in the shower because
Yes.
he doesn't want to annoy anybody else. It's fascinating stuff. That stuff really works. And yeah, I'm interested to see the rest of it.
Right. Like they all have, whenever they do the surprise songs, they have to rehearse them. But they also have
Yeah.
to rehearse them on low, low, low
Yeah.
volume without all the PA
Yeah.
systems
Also, I thought it was
because
interesting.
everyone's like
Yeah.
drones and surrounding them, wanting like the sneak peeks.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting that they started doing the choreography for the Tortured Poet stuff before the album was released. And
Hmm.
so they had to do it basically with Taylor reciting the lyrics because they couldn't play it on the PA. It's like fascinating little bits like that, or it's like, wow, okay. So yeah, like that's some real cool trivia. And yeah, the rest of the series, we'll see what they got for us. But
Yes. But like we
um,
mentioned, two episodes are up right now.
yes,
Will not finish releasing
no,
until after Christmas,
right.
which unfortunately will be after we record our top
Yeah.
fives.
And honestly, this year is so strong in television,
Oh,
it
it's
wouldn't have
too
made it.
strong.
It wouldn't have made it. Anyway, but I do also want to put I guess I don't really have to put it here because it doesn't feel
Did
like
you
a
finally
separate
finish
thing.
it?
What?
Oh, I thought you finally finished some of your episodes.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say it's related to the thing we just talked about,
Ugh.
but I won't write it separate because there's no need. But I also watched specifically the parts I didn't hadn't seen before of the Eras Tour, the final show, which also went up on Disney Plus at the same time
Mhm.
as these documentary episodes. It is literally, as the name implies, a film version of the final Eras Tour show. It's of note because it includes stuff that was not in the original film. So if you watch that one, you are in for at least some new content in this version. The Tortured Poets segment is brand new. So this is the first time anybody who hasn't actually been at the show has been able to see it outside of grainy TikTok video.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
I haven't watched it yet, but is it just the Eras Tour and then it cuts to
no,
the show?
no, that's what's interesting about this. It
So
is
it's like a whole new
literally,
like direction and cuts and
it
angles and
is,
stuff.
well, I'll get there. Hold
Hmm.
on. It is almost a straighter version of the show. They are not doing as much editing and transitions as they did with the original one.
Okay.
It does not appear that it was a combination of multiple shows either, like that film was.
Hmm.
This is just that last show
Okay.
with the transitions that the crowd saw intact, no
Oh.
cuts, which makes it an interesting alternate version of the Eras Tour experience. It feels a little bit more like how it was intended to be seen in real life. So you are waiting for Taylor to come back during the costume changes, which was not the case in the original one, which does
Mhm.
mean that this is longer. This is, if you didn't have enough the first time, this one is 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Well, if it adds the costume changes and a whole nother era.
Yeah, and a whole nother era. Well, there are some cuts that she had to make
Hmm.
in order to fit the new songs in. For example, she does not do the Archer during the Lover segment, and The Folklore and Evermore segments are largely combined, and some of the songs from those eras are cut as well. So
Hmm.
she had to like make little changes every once in a while in the show from the original version, but it's cool at least that we have on Disney Plus both versions. So if you really care, you can choose your favorite.
All right. Well,
The
I'll
Tortured
watch it
Poets stuff is interesting.
once the docu series wraps up. I'll watch
Yes.
it.
It's interesting, but yeah, you have to carve out a lot of time in order to get through that whole thing.
Yep.
So, like I said, that's why I pretty much just I watched some of the opening stuff and then I skipped to the Tortured Poets section and then I stopped watching because I was like, okay, I've seen the new stuff. I'm moving on with my life. But anyway, so
Okay.
yeah, that's up there. It's called, I believe it's just called The Eras Tour, the final show. Anyway, but that will do it for stuff we've been watching, unless you are hastily thinking of something right now.
No, I'm just realizing I didn't do any cancellations or renewals.
And you also didn't do the box office. Those are the
Yeah.
last week's numbers.
Yes, I am just realizing that.
Nice. Because we are about to go into cancellations and renewals. So instead of typing them, why don't you just tell me what they are?
I'll tell you what I'm no longer watching.
Yeah, what do you no
You're
longer
no longer
watch?
watching Hotel Costiera. Our Prime Video has been axed after
Mhm.
one season, but they do hold out hopes for a season two,
Okay.
as well as Boots, not related to the monkey. This is Boots on Netflix about the Marines, canceled after one season.
Okay.
As for your renewals, we have Beauty in Black coming back on Netflix for a third and final season.
Okay.
Down Cemetery Road on Apple TV will get a second season. And Heated Rivalry, the hockey romance, will
Yes.
get a second season on HBO Max.
Okay.
I guess that's also a Canadian thing,
Yeah.
so it's going to be on Crave in Canada.
Got it. That it?
Yeah, but we did have several deaths
Yes, unfortunately,
this
it is a
week.
rough week, as you may well know. We'll get there. Before that, we will talk about Jim Ward, age 66, voice actor. Was an actor in things like Ratchet and Clank and The Fairly Odd Parents, among many, many others. This guy did a lot of voice work and a lot of stuff. So definitely of note here. Jeff Garcia, age 50, was a comedian and also a voice actor. In fact, was around the same time as Jim Ward doing voices on Jimmy Neutron and Barnyard for Nickelodeon. So, ooh, two rough losses in the voice acting community this week.
Yeah,
We also, yeah,
Jim Ward was Quark in the Ratchet and Clank series, and the
mm,
Dimmadome of the
right,
Dimsdale Dimmadome,
yes,
Tall Tall Hat.
yeah.
And then Jeff Garcia was Sheen in Jimmy Neutron.
Ah, okay. Then we also have Bobby Rousseau, age 85, was a NHL player for the Montreal Canadiens and won 4 Stanley Cups with them.
Yeah, well
So,
done.
yeah, long life too, like 85. But then, of course, yes, the big news coming from this week, just a couple days ago here, was, of course, actor, director extraordinaire Rob Reiner, age 78. Of course, most famous for originally for his role in All in the Family, but later for cameo roles in other sitcoms, more modern sitcoms like New Girl and The Bear. But let's be real, mostly known as a director for directing some people's favorite movies of all time. Like, seriously, like everybody on Blue Sky was talking about, look at this stretch from like the late 80s through the 90s, and it's just like like one of the most bulletproof list of 5 movies in a row that you've ever seen a director make. He directed This Is Spinal Tap, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, and The Princess Bride, back to back to back to back.
None of those are in the same genre, by the way.
No, and they're all like classics in their respective genres. I mean, how many people have told you that their favorite movie is The Princess Bride? I can name like I know like 5 people who would say that. Like it's nuts. And so to say that he will be missed is like not even like close. He's like left a legacy that's really really hard to ignore, hard to like summarize.
Mhm.
Not only that, he won 2 Emmys, 1974 and 1978. He also this doesn't mention this, but I might as well mention this. He was also a um, a big a proponent of a lot of liberal causes here in the US, especially here in California. He is one of the people who spearheaded the effort to repeal Prop 8, to install uh, uh, gay marriage here in California. He also had a lot of other political causes he was behind and raised a lot of money for those causes. He was a very giving man. He also passed at the same time as his wife, Michelle Reiner, age 70. She was a photographer and a film producer and worked with Rob a lot. He'll be missed. I want to note this is wild, but only 5 years ago did his father, Carl Reiner, pass. So it's very soon after that. Yeah, it's a rough one. Would they have arrested someone who they believe to be involved? I'm not going to go into it because it's really sad. But yes, unfortunately, it does appear to be a murder. And yeah, we'll know more when more comes out. But for now, I think we should just be celebrating his films, just his amazing career, and just what a loss this is.
All right. Of those four, which one is yours?
Oh, geez, that's tough. But I mean, the easy answer is The Princess Bride. It is a classic for a reason. It's a family favorite. It's something that everybody can get something out of, and it's still funny. It still holds up. It's like a unique movie in a lot of ways.
I don't know. I think A Few Good Men,
I
just
mean,
from
that's like
just
a
that
guy
courtroom.
ass guy movie.
Yes, the quintessential courtroom drama
Yes.
scene.
You can't handle the truth. It's
No,
true.
he cannot.
All right. Anyway, let's move off of deaths because that was really depressing and move into
All right.
movies,
Where it's also
which is also
depressing.
kind of depressing. So we start movies, of course, with weekend box office. And yes, we whiffed it again, folks.
Yes, we both get loss here.
Yeah, because neither Five Nights at Freddy's or Deadly Night were your number one movies. Or is it Silent Night, Deadly Night is the name of that film?
Yes, Silent Night,
Um,
Deadly Night.
Neither of those were your number one because Zootopia came back up, thanks to, I guess, probably family seeing it again,
Hmm.
to your number one spot with another $25 million this week. That's way low, by the way, lower than I thought we were going to see this week. So that moves up Zootopia 2 to $258 million. We'll be talking a little bit about that total a little later. Number two, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 made $19 million this weekend. That's at 95. Number three, Wicked for Good, 8.5. That's at 312 million for the year. Durandar, I'm guessing this is a Bollywood thing.
Yes, it is.
Nailed it. $3.5 million this week. That is at 14. And now, writing out your top five, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, at $2.3 million. That's at 59 million. And you are the most wrong because Silent Night, Deadly Night only made $1 million and is way down at number 12. So at
Uh,
least I have that.
you, you were the most wrong with Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, did I say that? I got those
Yes,
reversed.
I was Five Nights.
Well, I figured like, well, okay, I guess
You
I'm the
thought
most
new
wrong.
release, new horror, people go see it.
But no, I was
And then
wrong.
families came out.
Yeah, families were in the theaters apparently, not the sickos. All right, speaking of sickos, what's coming up this week? I'm gonna skip
This is kind of a
ahead here.
pre-Christmas release.
Yes, we got two. Well, we've got we've got a handful of movies here that are
Yes.
coming out either between, like, let's say between the 19th and Christmas. Let's say that this is a window.
Yes, because Christmas is on a Thursday next week.
Right. So
And
between
there's
those
really only
dates,
one Christmas day like of release.
yeah. So between those dates, we have a handful of weird movies that all are very different. First, we start with "Is this thing on?" Question
Yes, I
mark.
can hear you.
So what is this?
This is the Bradley Cooper directed vehicle about a comedian going through a divorce, not too dissimilar to Funny People.
Okay. We
But
also
directed by
have
Bradley Cooper.
okay.
Starring Bradley Cooper, but not in the main role. Will Arnett is in the title role.
Oh, interesting. Okay. We'll learn it. Okay. All right. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, Marty Supreme is finally out. I believe that's technically Christmas Day, but I think that that first first viewings will be on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, yes, the limited release this
Limited
upcoming
release.
week with the wide release Christmas Day.
Yes, that is, of course, Timothy Chalamet playing a ping pong pro. It is already being showered with early festival praise and is a favorite going into award season. Timmy's performance is supposedly the big favorite for Best Actor, but we have not seen the movie yet, so we can't tell you.
I mean,
But
last year he dressed up as Bob Dylan. This year he dresses up as a ping pong player. Next year he's gonna, I don't know, run across country or something.
yeah,
Oh no, next year
who
he's got
knows?
Dune. He's got
No, next
Dune.
year is Dune 3, so.
Wait, no, that's 2027, not
Oh, yeah, no, he
2026.
doesn't. We don't know next year then.
Yes.
We'll see. We will certainly see. Anyway,
We
next
got
up,
something for the kids.
something for the kids is the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants, another in the SpongeBob franchise.
Yes, the 3D SpongeBob films, not those hand drawings of days yore.
Yeah. Next up, The Housemaid.
This is that CD Sweeney movie, The Housemaid.
Yeah.
Technically getting a wide release. Technically, no one's planning on seeing it, but it's
No.
here.
But it exists. No,
Yes.
because let's be real, the one that most people are going to see in theaters this weekend is Avatar Fire and Ash, which is sure to be a third in a row of blockbuster hits for James Cameron. This will easily be another $1 billion for them. I mean, we don't have to tell you that this is going to be number one this week.
No, it will not. I mean, no, we don't
We
have to
don't
tell
have
you
to
that.
tell
Yes,
you
it will
because
be
it
number
will
one.
be.
Yes. So because Avatar Fire and Ash will be your number one movie, we need to put a number on it.
All right. Well, there's only one way up from 25 million. So
Well,
we can pretty
yes.
much put any number between 25 and 100
All right.
and probably feel
The
good.
first Avatar in 2009
Yes.
debuted to $77 million. Dollars.
Okay.
Avatar Way of Water debuted to $134 million. Dollars.
Whew.
Those are the numbers. Even though, yes, they both ended up grossing $2 billion, dollars, they did all that work in January, the dead of season.
So what are we thinking?
Uh, I mean, do you just want to put it at 130? Will it match the Way of Water?
Yeah, it's hard to get a vibe check, right? Because you would think
Hmm.
there's a lot to consider. One, we're not necessarily in tune with a lot of normies. Normies love Avatar. How excited are the normies? We don't know. Do you feel like the vibes are positive right now and people are waiting with bated breath for a new Avatar? The
Well,
second thing
people
to
aren't
consider,
waiting 13 years for an Avatar sequel.
the second thing to consider here is there are now more people seeing movies now than there were back when Way of Water came out. The box office has rebounded in a lot of ways, even since then, where it had already rebounded from the pandemic. So, does that mean that number gets higher because theoretically more people are willing to see movies in December 2025 than they were then?
All right, I'm gonna make this easy for you. I'm gonna go over because I'm already contributing my money to this weekend with tickets for our Thursday premiere showing.
Feels like inside betting, but okay, sure. I don't think you can do that. I don't think that's legal, but we're not putting money on this, so it's fine. Um, but yeah.
I just want to say, if I'm going to go see it, I'm willing to wager that other people are also going to go see it in my
All right.
little packed showing.
That's okay. I also
Also,
know,
lurking against it though, is that it's a 3.5 hour film,
yeah.
so a
Well, there's that.
lot less show times.
Also working against it is that the economy is not what it was when Way of Water came out, which means that maybe some people will be saving money on entertainment this Christmas season. I don't know. So I am okay with taking the under there.
Probably the safer bet, but
Yeah.
hey, when
Hey,
have
you
I ever
said
taken the
yeah.
safe bet?
I know. All right. So those are your new releases this coming week. So we'll see what ends up on top next time. In the meantime, we got some movie news for you. But before I go into the bits, I want to let you know about some breaking news that happened apparently after you looked for news stories.
Okay.
Uh, Headline: Warner Brothers Discovery is planning to reject Paramount Skydance Corp's hostile takeover bid due to concerns about financing and other terms familiar with the terms people familiar with the matter said. This is according to a Bloomberg story that went up earlier this afternoon. Alongside that news, Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners is exiting from the takeover battle for Warner Brothers Discovery. We had mentioned last week that their uh, private equity
There
firm
was
was
backing it
involved.
who put up the extra money for it.
They're out. So that means that if Paramount tries again, it is just the Ellisons. Like they're not getting help anymore. So it does look like Netflix's deal has an advantage now because they're now the strongest deal again. So with no hostile bid, Paramount has to go back to the drawing board. So we'll see.
I mean, we'll see. They only, as we reported, they only have a couple days to make a decision. Um, Basically, because this now goes back to the investors to whether approve that Netflix deal. They have to make an announcement by that second week of January, what they're going to
Yeah.
do.
So
That's assuming they're
time's
dragging their
ticking.
feet and it won't be done by Christmas.
Yeah. I don't know. Time's ticking. They've got a lot to do. But yeah, it's
But
looking more
yeah,
and more like Netflix every day.
I don't know. Who would have thought the Jared Kushner Saudi-backed financiers
Yeah.
would have questionable ties in purchasing
Yeah.
this?
Who knew?
Who
All right.
knew? Who could
Now
see
let's
that
move
coming? Who?
into some happier movie bits that you've collected for us. We
All
start
right.
with, yes, Zootopia 2. As we mentioned, it's been incredibly successful. In fact, it's now overtaken Lilo and Stitch to become 2025's highest grossing movie. It has made $1.13 billion worldwide.
And that's only because Avatar Fire and Ash has not come out yet.
Yeah, just wait. So wait, watch this space. So you could
Yes.
have a
So
new
all of you who
crown
said,
winner.
why are they making Zootopia 2?
Now you know why.
Point to the bank.
Yeah. Next up, speaking of Disney, one of the big news stories that hit this week was that the Writers Guild of America is set to meet with Disney to probe the terms of its announced deal with OpenAI. This kind of is a weird story that we kind of been talking around because we don't really cover like internet news,
It's
but
technology news. Yeah.
it's related enough to movies that we should talk about it. Yes, in case you missed it, Disney did make a deal with OpenAI for access to their intellectual property. So this is
And in
obviously
exchange, Disney invested $1 billion
yes,
into OpenAI.
right, yes, and so, but of course, as you would, the guild is not thrilled about this, and yes, has arranged this meeting to figure out what the hell this means for writers, because that could be very bad.
Hmm.
All right, next up. It's been confirmed that Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson are set to return and reprise their roles in Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the new Hunger Games film that is loosely based on the new Hunger Games book that was released last year.
Yes, very loosely based on that
Yes.
book because
Yeah.
why are they here if that is supposed to be a prequel?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but here we are. Next up,
Watch
Lakeith.
the geek snippets right at the end, a la Vin Diesel
Yeah, I
in
wonder.
Fast and Furious 3.
Yeah, just put him in
Tokyo
there.
Drift.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I remember what I'm watching now. Thank you. Next up, we got Lakeith Stanfield has been cast as Dennis Rodman in 48 Hours to Vegas after Jonathan Majors has exited the project.
That is 48 Hours in Vegas, the
Yes.
very infamous stunt where Dennis Rodman left the Bulls mid-season to
Yes.
go on a 48-hour bender in Vegas to return for the playoffs.
Yeah, this was, of course, covered in the Last Dance documentary series on ESPN. If you're curious about seeing the fallout from the real version,
Yes,
uh,
and curious to
my
see how Michael
yeah,
Jordan still has not forgiven him for that.
yeah. I'm just curious who's gonna play Carmen Electra.
Can
And
we
who's
not get
gonna
Carmen Electra?
You know what? I bet you probably could. Anyway, and then last but definitely not least, if you still haven't seen the one of the biggest Oscar buzz movies of the year, One Battle After Another, you will get a chance on HBO Max because it will be up on that service on Friday the 19th. So just a few days here, you'll be able to see that if with your existing HBO Max subscription.
Right. unless you saw it already in theaters
Yeah.
or you pay to see it on premium video on demand.
Yes. I don't know who
Matt,
would do that.
did you do any of those things?
Well, it just so happened I did spend, at least it was only 9.99, but yes, I did spend the money, and I did watch one battle after another in the comfort of my home. And I'm very happy I did.
Oh, I'm happy I did in the comfort of my home too, because I could stop and pause and go take bathroom breaks and come back and feed myself and pick right up where I left off.
Um, I'll be honest, it didn't feel as long as the runtime suggests, at least to
Hmm.
me. Also, additionally, I was holding some pee for the last like 45 minutes. So yes.
Yes. Especially because you think it's going to end here, but then it's like, oh, there's still an hour left here,
Well,
or
yeah,
like still like
something
30 minutes left here.
yeah, something that you think is climactic happens and then you remember, "Oh, wait, there's something else that hasn't happened yet."
Right.
And then it happens. Yeah, I'll cut right to it. I think One Battle After Another is the best movie of 2025.
I can sum it up in one word:
Yeah.
captivating.
Uh-huh.
As much as I do, as much as I try to look away, as much as I try to
Yeah.
be distracted, and I tried to be distracted,
No.
I couldn't be because every time I looked, I was like, oh, I want to know what's happening here. I
Yeah.
want to know what's in this scene. Ooh, something's happening here. I am glued to it. Three
Mhm.
hours, like you said, flies by brief. It
Yeah.
captivated me. It held my
Yeah.
attention. The story, the script, the acting. I want to say that it definitely feels like Leonardo DiCaprio's character might have been crafted for someone else, but man, does he
But he
kill that
works.
role.
He makes it work though. Yeah, for sure. It just goes from moment one, from the time that the movie starts. It never lets up. Like even the moments that are slightly quieter, that are just characters talking, there is still an energy to those moments. So much of that credit is to the cinematography. So much of that credit is to the direction. Paul Thomas Anderson is doing direction that he doesn't usually do here. He doesn't make movies like this. He doesn't make
Mhm.
movies that are sometimes action movies. That's just not his deal. He makes more character pieces. And this somehow balances the two sides so well through the entire runtime that you never think it's one or the other. It's a hybrid. It's these characters that are deep and have dimension and that you care about deeply, but are flawed as much as they are, even if they're purportedly the do gooders. But at the same time, it's constant things on the screen happening. There are explosions, there's gunfire, there are car races, there are heists. There is just like there's so many things happening on the screen at all time. There are escapes. There are there is shotguns. There is just like
You could
it's just so
say
much
it's one
happening.
battle after another.
You could say that, but that's the brilliance of that title, right? Is it's literally there is constant violence happening, but also the characters are going through personal violence and personal trauma as well. And everybody is wrapped up in everybody's story and trying to figure out their deal. But it moves in a way that you're not thinking too much about any of that. You're just letting the movie kind of crash over you. And it's just so well done. And I didn't even mention the Johnny Greenwood score, which is also helping because it is pretty much constant. I don't think there's a moment I noticed that there wasn't some sort of music happening. It's very sparse though, but it's very effective. It is constantly like plinking here and there and ramping up slowly in a really unique way that you're constantly it's like adding to the stress of the scenes, the anxiety of the characters in almost every scene.
I'm actually kind of happy it's coming out this Friday because I want to see again to see if it keeps my attention, if it
Yeah,
captivates it
if you
again.
know what's already going to happen.
Yeah, if I already know what's going to happen. Is it worth a second rewatch?
Yeah. No, I mean, now that we kind of talked about the basics, we can get in the nitty gritty here. Yes, I
Yes.
agree with you. Leo's performance is amazing. I don't think I've seen him do something like this before. It is a serious role that he plays with a comic sensibility when it's needed.
But that's what helps make it seem
Yeah,
very organic. It seems very
exactly.
grounded in this otherwise chaotic story.
It almost feels improv-y, but I know it's not, which is
Yeah.
what's fascinating about how
But
that
that's how it
character
makes him
is.
such a good actor, though, is that he
Right.
can make something look improv,
Feels, yeah.
feels like it's no, it's written there. It's in the script. That's what he's supposed to say and do.
Yeah.
But it just makes it feel just
Yeah.
like coming up the top of his head
Yeah.
because that's what the character is like designed out of,
For
designed
sure.
crafted.
I mean, and Tiana Taylor,
Hmm.
amazing, especially in that first act, just like is absolutely the most fascinating thing on the screen every time she's on it.
Oh yes,
Chase Infinity as the daughter is amazing, especially in the last act of the film where she really shines. She has so much to do there, and she does amazing, especially as a very young new actor. Look for her as possible contender for supporting actress this year. But the two that we really need to talk about are the supporting roles here, are the supporting actor roles here. Sean Penn as the villain is one of the most unhinged, insane performances I've seen in a long ass time, and is easily the thing that probably will stick in people's minds the longest about this film. It is
yes.
an absurd performance of an absurd character in the most, in a very politically relevant to 2025 way.
For a
And
film
then,
shot last year or
right,
2 years ago.
right, it like somehow is able to address like so much of the moment right now
Hmm.
without being explicitly about the moment right now, which is already quite a feat. And then yeah, Sean Penn just is in one character summarizes a lot of that fear that we have of this specific kind of guy, and he does it so well. Then on the flip side of that, on the other side of that quarter, you have the leader of the kind of
It's
this revolution. Um, shit, I'm forgetting his name.
not talking about Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro. Thank you. I had
He's the
Benicio, and I was like,
sensei.
Del Toro,
Yes,
Del Toro. Yeah, Benicio del Toro, who is like,
he's thinking Guillermo del Toro too.
yeah,
Two different
that's I
people.
think what my brain was doing, and I was like, that's not right. It can't be Benicio del Toro. But then you're right, it is.
Yes.
His character is fun because he's like the heart of the movie. He's just like the kindest, gentlest guy who's also like the connection, like the web that connects this community together, and is like a best friend to Leo's character through the entire film, and just really props him up when he needs it. And it's just every time he did anything in this film, I was smiling. I was just like, yeah, I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy. I want to hang out with this guy. So yeah, just like every piece of this thing works so well, so smoothly. I never was thinking at any moment, because I think for me, a lot of people talk about like the watch test, which is like, oh, if you look at your watch to see what time it is during a movie, it must not be getting your attention. But I would even say I have another test where it's like when I'm watching a movie, I sometimes, if I ever think, oh, that could have been like that scene could have been better, I wish that this had gone differently, then I know I'm not watching a great movie. But when that doesn't happen through the entire runtime, I know I'm watching something that is going to be a classic. And this is that. I never for one moment thought that they could have done better.
Uh, like there are moments where I thought maybe we could cut a scene and condense two parts,
Yeah, but
but in doing
no.
that though, you
Yeah,
kind of
you
take away
lose.
from it from initiative. You kind of take away from the characters like extra motivation for the following scene.
Yeah,
That everything moves in a specific direction, but at the same time feels very organic and natural and
yeah.
just pushes you.
At the end of it, Christy was like, "Oh, I could have probably cut 20 minutes. I thought the car chase at the end was too long." And I was like, absolutely disagree. Like, no, you need every second of that. Every vista is important. Every time they go up those hills and down those hills, you need that to build that stress that you
Hmm.
feel about, oh God, what is possibly going to happen here? It is so important that you have every piece of that puzzle. But and man, what a puzzle.
Wonderful. So will
Whew.
this appear on your top five
Oh, it's not
list?
just appearing. That's all
Oh
I'll say.
no. Oh no.
It's going to make a grand entrance, is what I'll say.
Ooh.
It's hard to beat, is what I will say.
All right.
But there's other movies that we need to talk about, probably in a more condensed fashion. You
Yes.
watched something I talked about last week?
Yes. I ended up watching Jay Kelly. I ended up liking it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
It it's very funny about a movie about movies and a
Yes.
movie, and then like the opening scene is, or the opening like 5 minutes is George Clooney's character Jay Kelly doing take. They're doing another take. They're doing
Yeah.
another take and asking about the different takes. And it's like, oh yeah, take seven was great. We like, oh, you did that 7 times plus more. It's like, okay, yeah, like this is like, and then it gets like to the very end. It's like, yeah, but life doesn't have second takes. That's more or less like the whole encompassing point of
Yeah.
the film is that
Exactly.
life doesn't have second takes.
Hmm.
So enjoy it. Live your life in the present, in the moment, because life is not a movie. And that's basically the theme of Jay Kelly.
Yeah, for sure.
But I really
Uh,
liked it. I liked it a lot.
What'd you think about the ending? Did you think it was a little schmaltzy, or did you like the schmaltz?
I you mean the montage ending or the
Yes,
phone call ending?
the montage ending.
Oh, little too on the nose by the time we got there.
You
But
know
I
what?
think it works because of the last line of "I want to
Yeah.
go again."
See, that's the thing is I actually didn't think it was that cheesy when I
Mhm.
watched it. And then when I was looking at reviews, I saw that that was a common criticism. A lot of people had a problem with that ending and said it was like, come on, we don't need that like happy ending. Like we don't really need that kind of
Yeah,
cheese.
but I also wonder how much of it is you're watching little tiny clips and just thinking, "Oh yeah, George Clooney's been in better
Yeah.
movies. George Clooney is a good actor."
Damn.
So like
Yeah.
it's a little tiny clip, but it makes you think of those movies rather than
It
the one you're
breaks.
watching.
I wish I could remember whose rule this is, but it does break. I forget who it is, but yeah, someone's rule, which is you never want a movie to remind you of a better movie.
Yes.
I forget who said that, but yeah, I always think about that. But like, yeah, that's a cardinal sin. But I think it narrowly avoids that. But yeah, no,
The
I
last
like it.
line avoids that
Mhm.
because it does
Yeah,
change and it does the I want to go again is like,
yeah.
but you
But
can't.
you can't. But yeah,
And I am the angel of death, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You
exactly. Yeah.
can't.
Um, but yeah, I liked it a lot also, but this will not be appearing in my top five.
Will
I
not
can
be
say
appearing
that.
on mine, but it's really nice movie. I'm glad that I watched it.
All right, and then you also got your dad movie on. Tell
Oh
me
yeah,
about
I did.
F1 the movie. Was it worth the wait, or is it
Oh
just
yeah.
one of those?
Hard to say if it was worth the wait because
Yeah,
this would have been a spectacle on the big screen.
sure.
It would have been nice to see. It's big, it's fast, it's loud, and it is definitely hits the more rote of a Hollywood beats with an age driver coming out of semi-retirement, doing it for the love of the sport,
Yeah.
and finally getting his shot in the big leagues. The F1 series, hence the name
Yes. Yes.
F1.
That's in
It does feel very much at times ad for F1 as they have
uh-huh.
the actual announcer, the
Product.
actual
Yes.
graphics, the actual drivers that they mentioned. So it kept throwing me for like this is actually F1
Yeah.
advertisement, but also F1 the Brad Pitt movie in this fake company going up against real companies. So it kept so my mind just kept oscillating whenever they did the actual race announcements. It's like, yes, I know this person's like an actual F1 driver, and here comes Brad Pitt, Hollywood driver.
Yeah. It's weird. That feels like that creates kind of a weird surreal layer to the film.
Yeah, I wasn't really fully able to like disconnect
Yeah.
between the real F1 world and the movie F1 world because of that.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing, because otherwise it's a blast. It's fun.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
driving sequences are great. And yes, it is your dad's favorite movie now.
There's at
Uh,
least one of those every year.
I don't know if this is going to end up on my top five. That number five spot is really in contention, and I can see
Well,
this adding there because there's so much rewatchability to this. And that's one thing I really like about it is can I watch this again? Would I watch this again? It's treating you right on the edge just because not only do I know how it happens, but also the
yeah.
ending doesn't really matter because the action sequences and the driving sequences and everything that builds up is so good.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it is from the same director, Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, which was also a really, really great action movie.
Right. So it's who you want on that kind of project.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, discrepancies besides, it
Hmm.
seems like you had a good time.
Pun totally intended. Your mileage will vary.
Fair enough.
But
I'll talk
you
about
watched a movie.
yes. One last movie for this podcast, and then we'll wrap it up. I'll be brief, because this is definitely another your mileage may vary, except for one thing I will say about it. We watched Blue Moon, which, in case you don't know, is the second Richard Linklater movie of the year. I already talked about his other movie, Nouvelle Vague. This one is a little bit more. Don't want to say more ambitious, but it involves one of the most ambitious acting challenges that I've seen all year. In Blue Moon is Ethan Hawke as Lorenz Hart, who you may recognize as the Hart in Rogers and Hart, the team that Rogers was in before Rogers and Hammerstein, which is the more famous duo who created some of the most classic musicals of all time. I mean, Rogers and Hart were no slouch either. Like Pal Joey, anyone? Like they made also successful, just not as successful musicals before Hammerstein came around. And this movie is about that transition. So Ethan Hawke is transformed in this role. Like, you know, roughly in your head, like what Ethan Hawke looks like, right? Well,
Mhm.
imagine him as a short and stubby, balding old guy who's really only 48, but he looks like he's in his 70s.
Ethan Hawke is a staple of Richard Linklater films.
Yes. Well, in this case, he is used in probably one of the best ways possible. He just becomes this character. And the most fascinating thing about this movie is his performance. He is a force of nature. He just enters the scene and literally will just talk at characters with these long ass monologues about his history as a songwriter, working with Richard Rogers, just being in the Broadway scene, talking about this woman that he's fell in love with, and talking about his sexual proclivities, and just going on and on and on. And at first, the characters around him are just like, "What's this guy's deal?" And then as the movie goes on, they're charmed by him because, of course, and the audience also gets charmed by him because you're just like, this is one of the most fascinating guys, and you're just like lapping up everything this man has to say. I will note, if you don't know much about musical theater history or music history as in a broad sense, like if you don't know the Gershwins or like George M. Cohan or like names like that, you might be a little lost because it does reference a lot of specifics. But I think that even somebody who doesn't know all that context will still be in awe with this performance because this character is just holding court. There are scenes that go on, I swear, for 20, 25 minutes that are just in one location, in a bar, and are just dialogue between characters. But it works. It never feels boring. It never feels claustrophobic. It never feels stagey. You are that fascinated with the stories and with the dynamic that he's building between these other characters. There are other scenes to like give a little bit of variety. Richard Rogers shows up because they're celebrating the release of Oklahoma, which is on the brink of becoming the biggest release of his career. And of course, we now see as like a turning point for American musical theater, but we didn't know that then. You also have, of course, the love story, which is happening with the aforementioned woman that I mentioned. She's 20. She's an ingenue. She's trying to get into the stage world and has taken, Lorenz Hart as kind of like a mentor figure. But as you might have guessed, this guy is lonely, has been single his entire life, and he has fallen in love with this girl, played by Margaret Qualley, because every movie has to have Margaret Qualley in it now. Um, but she's actually pretty good here. I didn't it wasn't distracting this time. She actually her character is compelling enough that you kind of get it. You kind of are like, okay, all right, I kind of see the interest here, even though you do wonder what are the ulterior motives, and that's where the movie goes in that direction. But yeah, I think it's a fascinating movie. But the big thing here is Ethan Hawke's performance. Honestly, it's Oscar worthy. Like I said, the
Ooh.
transformation in itself is enough, enough to make it worth checking out. This came in and fucked up my top five, is what I will say.
Uh-oh.
It's in there. It's in there. And something else that I really liked had to go. So, yeah. I would recommend this. Definitely, I liked it more than Nouvelle Vague. I liked it more than Jay Kelly. As movies about showbiz this year, it's the better of the two.
And I'm just going to assume you liked it better than the Leonard Bernstein film
I
that came out
didn't
2 years ago.
I remember, if you recall, I saw the first 20 minutes of Maestro and bailed. I could not make it through that movie.
I'll be sure. I mean, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad that
I
you didn't watch it?
yeah, I was like, I can't do this. This movie, in the way that you were said you were enthralled by what was happening with one battle and after
Mhm.
another, I was this way just with the dialogue in this film. I was like, okay, when it was over, I was like, I literally turned to Christy and I was like, I could do another hour of that. So yeah,
Yeah, but like you
recommended.
said, it's for a very specific type of person, though,
Very
who
much so,
knows
though.
about musical theater.
Yeah, but like I said, I think even if you don't have that context, the movie does do a lot of work to establish who these people are and why you should care about them, because he does talk to people who need context in the film. Like the bartender, for instance, doesn't know what these things are. He's just the bartender at Sardi's. So he like Ethan Hawke's
This
character
is the
does
audience
have to
stand-in.
explain it.
Yeah.
You do have an audience surrogate in there in some way, but generally speaking, I think it is enhanced if you know the references. If you're like, oh, that musical name, I recognize that. Oh, I know what they worked on. I know what they're talking about. Oh, they're talking about future plans. I know what they're talking about because that did happen in this certain way. Also, all the Oklahoma stuff is funny because obviously history has been very kind to Oklahoma in a way that it has not been kind to the to this musicals he made with Lawrence Hart. So if you know that context, it is enhanced, but it's not necessary to enjoy the film.
Okay. But that is currently in theaters,
Yes,
not
currently in
streaming.
theaters. All
Yep.
right. Well,
All right.
unless we watch anything else, that'll do it.
That'll do it for us. That'll do it for this edition of the Media
Yes.
Boat Podcast. Four movies we
Yes.
talked
Whew.
about.
Yeah, we've definitely made a meal out of those, but there'll be more. We're not done. The local theater is playing Sentimental Value, another Oscar buzz starter, especially for Stellan Skarsgård's performance. So I'm going to try to see that as well. I'm not sure when. And yeah, and Marty Supreme will be in that theater this coming week as well. So yeah, maybe there's more movies coming down the pipe for us to talk about.
All right. Well, we'll get to those in future
Yes. And if
episodes.
you want to watch this episode or past episodes or future episodes, you can find those all on YouTube in video form. Just search YouTube for Media Boat Podcast and you can find them there. You can also listen to the audio versions on podcast services of your choice by searching Media Boat Podcast on those platforms. You can also find us on Blue Sky by searching Media Boat. And last but definitely not least, if you want to email us any questions, comments, feedback, tell us how wrong we are about, I don't know. Actually, we liked everything this week, so I guess you don't have to tell us we're wrong. Um, we watched some good movies, turns out, and you should watch them. Well, if you want to tell
Tell
us
us
that
how
we're right,
long one battle after another is, and did you finish it all in one sitting?
exactly. You can email us those questions and comments at mediavotepodcast@gmail.com. And with that, we'll be back next week for more of us, more news, and more thoughts. And like I said at the top of the show, keep your eyes peeled for our year end wrap up shows. Those will be coming to YouTube and our podcast feed. So look forward to those. We've got two in the can, two more coming. So look forward to all of those to find out what our favorite things of the year were.
And we will be back next week for our pre-Christmas episode, and I
Yes.
will talk about Avatar: Fire and
Yes.
Ash.
So look forward to that.
All right, we'll be back with more news, more thoughts, and more of us.
All right. See you then.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.